Thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. On today's review, we take a look at the Storm Collectibles Street Fighter 2 Ultra, the Final Challenger Sagat. Today I'll be reviewing this figure in 6 categories: accessories, articulation, design, is it essential to your collection, functionality, and price. Once those scores are totaled, I'll give you my opinion if this figure is a pass or a purchase. So man, am I excited to have this. Sagat has been one of those figures that I have wanted for quite some time. So I'm happy when I saw Storm Collectibles originally tease this. I thought it may be 2020 before we actually got this. So I'm excited to have it in my hands now. And I have to give a major shout out to my boy Jess, who was able to pick this up at San Diego Comic-Con for me. So without Jess, this action figure review wouldn't be possible at the moment. So if you're looking to see some extraordinary toy pictures or just to follow a cool guy, take a look at his Instagram. So let's take a look at the accessories. So first, let's start with the Tiger Blast effect piece. It's done particularly well. There's a combination of colors, some yellow, some orange, then bleeding into a lighter version of a red. So it's pretty cool. You have the stand, which I didn't even bother to take out the packaging. If you see my videos, you've seen this, and I'll actually show this in the functionality department, so don't worry. You receive 8 hands in total. So one of the things that I really like with Storm Collectible hands are the line work. Being that his is wrapped in bandages, it's a little different. Well, it's a bit harder to see the imprint of some of the tendons. However, you can see it if you look close enough. So that's something that I really like that Storm Collectibles does with all of their hands. And we receive 4 interchangeable heads. So let's start with the one that comes on Sagat. It is done very well. This may be my favorite out of the 4 head sculpts. Just looking like a real evil guy. Really like the butt chin here. There is a scar located directly underneath the eye patch, and it is actually sculpted, so it's not just paint. So just looks really well. And the top of the head, I'm not sure if this is coming through, but it has that shadow as if his hair is starting to grow back, so I really like that. So now moving on, I like this head sculpt as well. Sort of that menacing laugh. Teeth are done particularly well. Mouth is done okay. Nothing fabulous going on there. But just want to point out the imprints. As he's laughing, you can see right above his mouth. You can see how his facial feature kind of tenses up. So I really like how Storm Collectible tends to capture that on all of their head sculpts. Another head sculpt which I like. Sort of that grimacing effect. And again with the lines just coming through. And all of the scarring seems to be the exact same size. So this is the beat up face, and I actually like this one quite more than I did with the Gal, to where I feel that the Gal appeared a little bit sloppy and looked a little silly. I feel this one looks a lot better. I don't know if it's because it has blood in the few areas coming from the mouth, underneath the eye, and right on the head as well. And then also it's not the 2 black eyes that Gal had. So I really like this one a bit better than I did with the Gal. So for accessories, I'm going to give Sagat a 10 out of 10. So let's dive right into articulation. So with Storm, you have a neck that's movable. That allows you to push it forward a little bit, push it back some, and it allows you to get the head to look way up. So I'm very happy with that. So the head is able to do a full 360. rotates across side to side, and you get a great amount of pivot. Also, the neck is made out of that rubber material, so it's very flexible, allowing you really to dig in. So now with the arms, Storm Collectible perhaps has the best butterfly joints in the business. So you're able to move the arm way over in front. You're able to move it way to the back. Full 360, of course. And you're able to get the arm all the way up. The elbows are double jointed. No, single jointed, bending in about this much. I'm okay with that. It'll be cool if it collapsed a little bit further, but I have no issue with this here. So you get an upper bicep cut, no rotation at the bandages, but you do get full rotation at the wrist, and it hinges side to side or up and down. You just have to find the hinge point. So another area that I really like with Storm Collectible figures is the torso. So we'll start with the upper. You have the A and B piece. So the floating part, which I call A, you're able to get a great amount of range without even using the bottom. So it crunches back about that much. Forward, great amount of pivot. Now using the lower, you get full rotation. It has its own pivot. So now using the combination of A and B, you just get so much movement here. So this is phenomenal. So now moving on to the legs, here is soft goods. Well, when I say soft goods, I don't mean fabric. I mean it's made out of a rubber or pliable material. So the legs are able to bend out this much. As you see, I'm able to get more range with this leg. If I heat this one up, I'm probably able to move it a little bit more. Or if I push it, let's see if I can push it. All right, there we go. So great amount of range, being able to split nearly a full 360. So the arms, the legs, excuse me, kick up about that much. Excellent. Excellent. You do get rotation. Knees are double jointed, bending in that much. Could have been a little bit further, but I'm satisfied with that. We do not get rotation by the bandage. The foot, however, is able to move. And this is where the true test will tell if Storm Collectible is continuing to improve. So I'm a little bit nervous. Let's take a look. So the foot is able to go up about that much. You do receive toe articulation. The foot is able to go down way more. Oh boy. I'm going to go with the outside first. So to the, wow. Whoa. So you get a good amount of pivot to the outside. Feeling good about this. And you get an extraordinary amount of pivot on the inside. Way to go, Storm Collectibles, for fixing, in my opinion, the 1 weak link that you had across many of your figures. So for accessories, we've already done accessories. So for articulation, I am proud to give Storm Collectibles Sagat a 10 out of 10. So for design, just take a look at him. So the eye patch is completely sculpted. I was wondering if Storm Collectibles was going to use an eye patch that was removable. This is not. It is completely sculpted to the head, and I'm actually happy that they did this. I would just imagine that if it was removable, with many poses that you would put it in, it would probably fall off and it would have been a little bit problematic. So while it would have been a cool feature, I think that it would have annoyed most collectors. So just taking a look at the scar. The scar looks very good. And I don't know what it is, but it's just something about that white eye. I really like that white eye. The scar looks phenomenal, just coming completely through, and it is sculpted. It is deep. Just the vein work throughout. He has nipples as well. The abs. And the bandages have a variation of colors. There's some white and some gray mixed in. I would have liked if it was a bit dirtier, maybe had some blood speckling. This is definitely not a complaint, just pointing something out. His back is completely defined, just muscle tone going throughout. And if you're looking, oops, the head fell off. So you're able to hide the gaps very well. But just look at the muscular, just continuing throughout, even coming into the neck. I mean, Sagat has an overall simple design. It's a man with shorts on and some bandages around his feet and leg. Stamp Collectibles did an amazing job of capturing the complete likeness of Sagat. And for design, I'm going to give them a 10 out of 10. So is Sagat essential to your collection? I would consider the 3 core characters of the Street Fighter franchise to be Ryu, Ken, and Chun-Li. Please let me know in the comments if you disagree. So while Sagat doesn't hold the caliber and status that those 3 characters have, he is absolutely essential, especially to Ryu's arc. And he's just such a beast of a figure. So as far as being essential to your collection, I'm going to give Sagat a 10 out of 10. So in the functionality department, Sagat doesn't come with a lot of accessories. So there aren't a lot of things to test. So one of the things that we will look at is the Tiger effect piece, which has a hole and it attaches to the stand that comes with Sagat. And it goes in place pretty easy. Well, I want to say pretty easy, but I still have not placed it in the hole. Okay, and there you go. And then taking Sagat, I'm going to have to swap out the hands for a moment, so give me a second. All right, now placing Sagat next to it. Voila, it's complete. So let's move on to swapping out the heads. Just going to bring Sagat down a little bit. So to remove the head, simply apply a little pressure and pull up. Comes off very easy. To place the head on, just prop it down. I'm really liking this head sculpt here. This may be the one I go with. This one seems to fit a little more snug than the one that originally came with it. So putting on the next head, which would be the beat up face. While it's not bad, I just don't see myself displaying Sagat with this one. And moving on to the last head. Would be the grinning one. And I like this head as well. So now moving on to the hands, they are pretty easy to switch out as well. Again, a little pressure, pull forward. What I like about these hands are that the pins or pegs are pretty thick. I want to say this is as thick as the pegs that are on Hot Toys. So it makes it very easy to remove and then put the hands in place. And moving on to the last area that I will touch for functionality would be the trunks. So what Storm Collectibles has done with a few of their figures, they make part of it very soft. You see how I can push this in and the entire shorts from this part up just flexes in. That allows for the leg to just be able to go way up. And instead of getting stuck, if this was hard plastic, this is just able to fold up and you're able to get added articulation. So that's a great thing that they have done. So to round this out, for functionality, I'm going to give Storm Collectibles a 10 out of 10. So for pricing, Sagat comes in at $85. So now for that price point, is he worth it? So let's talk about what he comes with. You get 4 interchangeable head sculpt. Each of them are uniquely different from the other. You get 8 interchangeable hands, and you get 1 special effect piece. So I'm very satisfied with the accessories that we get. While $85 is not cheap for what's considered a 7-inch action figure, it is simply the time that we're living in now. So for pricing, I am going to give Sagat a 10 out of 10. For those of you who've been waiting to add him to your collection, I assure you he will not disappoint. He was certainly worth the wait. He is certainly worth the price point. He is an enormous figure, dwarfing over the other characters in the lineup, and I am happy to have him. So that will give Sagat an overall Cliff score of 60 out of 60. This may be the first figure that I've reviewed that actually has a 60 out of 60. So is he a pass or a purchase? He is absolutely a purchase. So here's Sagat by itself. Here he is next to the Marvel Legends Hulk, which I recently reviewed, but just look how he's towering over Hulk and nearly matching him in overall width as well. And here he is next to Mortal Kombat's Goro. While some of you may be disappointed, I was looking to add Ryu. However, I do not have the Ryu available at this time. I do, however, have Akuma. So here is Sagat standing next to Akuma. And one thing I forgot to mention in the functionality department is how well Sagat stands on its own. I actually had to lean Akuma next to him to prevent Akuma from falling over. And last but not least, here's Sagat next to Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat 3 Scorpion, which should be my next review. So I want to thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. I hope to catch you during the next review.